I think it's becoming more precedent to people in terms of costs of certain amenities like oils and things like this. And the media and the news, they see more frequent hurricanes, floods in the third world, people starving in the world. And I think it's now not a case of people just sitting and watching and thinking, oh, it's a terrible thing to be happening over there. And it's kind of affecting them personally, and they can see in their lifetime the huge changes that are happening in the world. No matter where you are, if you're in the mountains, you see the snow lines receding. If you're around the Great Lakes, you see them disappearing. If you're around fish, if you're around the oceans, you see the massive amounts of fish that are becoming extinct or close to extinct. So it's something quite close to most people's hearts, and I think they're coming out and actually trying to actively do something about it. There's a lot of people that, yes, they understand that there's a problem, but they don't understand how big a problem it is. As soon as they come here and they see the lack of groupers on the reefs and the lack of sharks and the big predators around, which 30 years ago there was an abundance of them, it's slowly starting to sink into a lot of people that actually it's quite an important thing. You go into restaurants, you get locally, it's known as kazan, it's baby shark. The fishermen come in, they basically, first they're attracted by the splash, which are the smooth hounds that are making the splash. They net the smooth hounds, they take them to the restaurants or the supermarkets, and then they get put out. So when people come and they see these fish or whatever in the sea, and then they see them in a restaurant, sort of on the fishmongers, when you see it in the sea, it's such a rare sight, and then to see it in a restaurant or in a supermarket is quite devastating. So I think mainly people I kind of don't quite realise the extent of the problem, but as soon as they sort of start diving and they start seeing the problems, it becomes very apparent. Trimming is when you put loads of dead fish or fish oils or whatever into the water, and obviously the sharks got a super sense of smell, they can smell it from miles away. They come in and straight away they're in a bit of an alien territory because it's quite shallow. There's lots of people splashing around, naturally they think that's food, so they're just going to... With sharks, unfortunately, they test bite, so they'll go in, they'll have a bite to see if it's food, they'll realise it's not, and then they swim away, but unfortunately that test bite is a limb coming off. There's a huge an unprovoked shark attack and that, which for people to read, you can kind of understand. They're on your holiday, you know, a shark has bitten somebody for no apparent reason, but really, the real reason is because, you know, human influence. They were chumming the waters close to where lots of tourists go. It's simply not enough to be aware of it, aware of a problem. You have to actively be involved, you know, and it runs as simple as this. If you're in your house and there's lights left on, you just turn them off. Instead of putting your TV on standby, you just turn your TV off. It's simple things that you can do at home, which doesn't affect you directly, but it affects the world as a whole. These people in the third world that you see that are being affected by floods, being affected by frequent storms, hurricanes, and it does affect us here. We got evacuated here, and it's not a rare occurrence. It happened last year as well, the year before that. It's becoming more frequent. We're burning fossil fuels at a rate that is not sustainable anymore. We're running out, so we need to start to think of other ways of powering what we have. Think about how you're getting to and from work or to and from the places you go to. If there's one place in the car and there's somebody else that could potentially go with you, that's another step forward. So I think it's the small little steps that individuals take will basically make things happen. If people turn to a thing of, if people have the sort of attitude of, you know, it's such a big problem, I don't think how I can help it. I mean, it simply doesn't. It will never work. So I think people have to actively get involved. I think people have to actively get involved. I think people have to actively get involved.